destroyed the mall. I broke into 3 malls, and then
What do you mean?
It was terrible. I broke into 3 businesses
How?
in the mall.
You like the mall? You got into the mall and then
The mall's
fucked
an
it up?
outdoor mall.
Oh, okay.
I just went to the doors and ripped them off the fucking hinges, and went in and took whatever was in the register, $88, because I was a jerk off, you know. And then I had calmed down for a while. That really alerted the cops.
Well, yeah.
Like somebody broke into 3 businesses on Christmas Eve. What type of person breaks into a business
so big behind that, man.
and Christmas Eve?
Yeah,
Who
for
put
real.
this is where my head was at.
Yeah, right.
And it was every time I drank Southern Comfort and orange juice, it made me steal. Every time I drank Southern Comfort and orange juice, I 3 or 4 of those, I'm like, I gotta go rob somebody. And I would just walk around the mall, and you know, they had all these like people would leave skis out, I clipped the skis.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I
It's
was
Colorado, sure.
I was just on a fucking thief roll, you know? The one guy worked for UPS. The one guy was hilarious. The one guy was like, you know, his motto was fucking, my father buys cars, I crash them. He would tell his dad at dinner, you buy him, I crash him. Don't worry about nothing. His dad was a bookmaker, and he would hide his money in Breyer's ice cream.
What do you mean? In the ice cream?
Yeah, he would
Like ziplock it and stuff it down in there?
he would hire it in Breyer's ice cream.
And keep it in the freezer?
And
like
keep it in the
that's
freezer.
Good, yeah.
So whenever he would come over, he'd go get my dad in the living room talking, I gotta rob him.
Had to go into the fucking freezer and dig a knife.
Yeah. So he'd get in the car, he's like, whammo. I got my dad for 60, my mother for 60. What's that, 280? And I go, no, 120. He didn't know how to tell that.
Yeah.
He couldn't read Roman numerals on a clock. So if you were at a bar and there were Roman numerals all night long, he'd keep asking you, what time is it? What time is it? I don't know those Roman numerals. This guy that I hung out with dear friends still today, his brother was my driver when we robbed the jewelry store heist. That's coming up later on.
That gets it maybe in the fall.
Yeah, because his brother was the real deal. They just didn't want to know. Right. And Bonehead had the hottest bitch in the world. Her name was Donna Chinsoon. She was half Irish, half Chinese, Hunan pussy, even back then. The bitch was 5'11". What do you want to do with little Chinese eyes, but Irish looking, white skin? Fucking, she'd eat up Lucy Liu. Give me any fucking Chinese woman today, she'd eat her up. Even back then, I just tried to friend her on Facebook. She won't be my friend, and she still looks good because her and Chrissy would do fucking heroin and pass out in the living room naked. And I'd wake up in the morning, I'd be like making like an English muffin. I'd look in the bed, and I'd see her, and she was tall and thin. So when a girl's like 5'11" and skinny, they have that heavy pussy. It's like a 60-pound piece of meat between their legs. And she had little hair around it. And I would just walk up to it, eat my English muffin. And I would just sit there and look at the pussy like, you know how people watch the news?
Yeah.
It looked like,
watch the news.
It looked like a little cupcake. It looked like a little cupcake. It was like a little cupcake that you wanted to squeeze, a pussy. She had the best looking pussy I ever saw in my life. And I swear to my daughter, Mercy, I never touched it. I just sat 2 feet from it. I did try to smell it from time to time. Like I would just like, hopefully have like, you know, it wasn't social distancing, you know what I'm saying?
Not back then.
Not back then. So it was like 2 feet away. I'm trying to get a whiff or a snatch. They were our friends, you know. But that year I started robbing this jewelry store. There was this jewelry store on Bergen Line Avenue next to a Burger King. And this girl worked at this Burger King. And every time I go to the Burger King, I like jewelry. My mother was a big jewelry, so I would go into this jewelry store.
What'd you like? I know you still wear a necklace. What were you doing
like
back then? Rings
and jewelries
bracelets
and shit like that. I like all that stuff. So I went in there one day and I noticed, Jesus Christ, every other jewelry store on Bergen Line has a buzzer. This one doesn't have a buzzer. And there's 2 ladies that are 90 working behind the counter. I could have a field day in here. So I would go in there from week to week and say, hey, let me look at that ring. And they'd put the tray up and walk away. and I'd take a ring and put it in my sock and leave and give it to my little girlfriend or whatever. And I kept doing this every other month.
And they wouldn't say, hey, where the hell's that?
Nothing. Thank you. I even told them I want to be part of like the $5 a month club where you pay $5 and they save money for you to get like a ring, like layaway. And then one day we're eating at Burger King. I'm like, I got an idea. It was like July of '82, and I had a football shirt on. It was hotter than fuck. And I'll never forget walking in there and then giving me the tray of diamond wedding rings. And I'm looking to get married. And it was like I was there every 4 weeks with a different story. And they'd put the trays out and walk away. And this one time I just took the whole tray and put it on under my shirt and ran out of there. I had 30,
the whole fucking tray.
30 wedding bands. Had like $2,000 a pop. So I had this dentist then that used to buy stolen shit from me.
Dentist?
I had a couple different guys. I had
Everyone's crooked in this fucking neighborhood. I love
dentist,
it.
and he paid me in cocaine.
The dentist?
The dentist. So I sold him like 10 rings. I had this guy, Nick, that was a pizza man. He was a Greek. His name was Nick, and he would always go, "Speak, you suck." He was very racist, but he was the best because I would sell him stolen jewelry, and he would put it in a schmuck, and he would hang it up. He wouldn't get rid of it. Then like a week later, I'd go down there, "Nick, let me go to the bathroom." And I'd go to the bathroom, and I'd steal a ring back from him. And then I'd go in there a week later and go, "Nick, do you see this ring?" And he'd go, "I don't know. That looks very familiar, Spick." I used to resell him fucking stolen jewelry constantly, that poor bastard. Poor Nick.
Reselling stolen jewelry to the guy you took it from.
You got to listen to my story here, people. I'm asleep in the bedroom with Kurt and the dog. They had a pit bull. And he would sleep in the middle between me and Kurt and try to move that motherfucker.
Yeah,
His name was, oh my God. You know how he died? He bit into a refrigerator cord and he got electrocuted.
No.
He just popped up in the air. Topaz. They were making him snort gunpowder and shit. This motherfucker, he had no future. I felt so bad for Topaz. They were shooting steroids at him, giving him blow.
Topaz.
This guy bit the fucking refrigerator thing
shit.
and just went up like a fucking...
No pass.
It was like something about Mary. Remember when we had to bring the dog back like that? And then she got me this job. And this job was great because we were fucking 19, but we didn't give a fuck. Like, we basically punched our cards, walked to the 3rd floor, put boxes together, and me and Stinky went to sleep. At 12, they go, "Yo, you guys going to eat lunch?" And we come downstairs. One of the black guys would give us a couple dollars to buy him a bottle of blackberry brandy. We go get a roast pork sandwich, come back, and do the same. If we got bored, we would set the boxes up like a defensive line and an offensive line, and he would play linebacker and I play running back, and he'd have to tackle me.
Through the boxes.
But the best thing that happened there was that black dude became our friend. He was our only friend. Everybody else hated us because we didn't have to do nothing. We had a no-show job, basically. And one day we're on top, like, those attics, and we're throwing down container boxes. They're like 6 feet tall. These are heavy boxes, but they're not put together. They're still flat.
Flat, yeah.
So I got to cut 2 wires and take them down, and I would just hand them to him. I'll never forget this. This guy would spend his mornings just drinking blackberry brandy. Just fucking, from the minute we got there at 8, he'd polish off a pint, and then we'd go back at lunch and get him another pint. By 3 o'clock, he'd be shit-faced.
2 pints?
2 pints a day. This black dude. I forget what his name was, but I loved him with all my heart. So one day, it's me and Stinky up at the top, and he's like, "Yo, the Lazy Brothers, throw down 50 boxes. So he's sitting there, and we're throwing down 1 box at a time. And you can see that, we're throwing them quicker and quicker, you know, like, and he's like, man, slow down. And he's grabbing the boxes and he's putting them down. He's drunk as a skunk. And I fucking take the box and I'm like, and all of a sudden I saw like a wind took it. Like the wind got behind it. And you could see his eyes open because he couldn't time it where it was going. The box was doing like a curveball. And it just came right here and hit him in the bridge of the nose. And he went down. He was out.
He knocked him out.
They had to get a doctor and shit. He's like, man, what the fuck happened to you guys? So we got fired from that job. Then I got another job working at Boulevard Hardware. They're still there. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to see fucking this band. You know, I'm going to do this. You know, I just got sick and tired. So they finally suspended me. They gave me like a 30-day suspension. That was the worst thing you could do it to me at that time. The girl came to me. You know, every girl in Jersey wants to break up June 15th.
For the summer.
For the summer.
Yeah,
every one of those dirty whores. And they want to come back with chlamydia in September. Yeah. I miss you. You know, you just fucked 18 Puerto Ricans from Staten Island. Now you want to come back to me in September and hold hands. Get the fuck out of here with your little hand job, Chinese hand. You know. Excuse me. And so for a week, 10 days, I just watched his house at night. He lived in a building, and there was a lot of action on that street. It's going to be hard to rob him. But I figured out a way how to get on his roof and get into the kitchen of the thing. And if I went into the kitchen, the door's right there. I could just unhinge it, empty the cash, and run out. But there was one problem. There was a body shop or something back there. And there was the way the fencing was, there was a German Shepherd. That was crazy. So every time I come to the fence, the German Shepherd would fucking attack the fence. So I said, fuck it. I would go to Burger King next to the jewelry store I robbed.
Feed that motherfucker.
And I'd buy 2 or 3 Whoppers. And I'd fucking go back there and give him Whoppers. Even though I went without for days, hungry as fuck, I'd give him the Whoppers. Then I went the next day and I jumped the fence and he ate the Whopper. And every day for about 10 days, I gave him a Whopper, fries, apple pie, whatever the fuck. He would let me pet him, let me fucking pet his stomach. Yeah, I had
stomach. Now you're petting his
Oh yeah, I had the motherfucker down. Who's my baby? You know, who loves you more than Papa? I'm rubbing his stomach.
Oh, that's great.
And fucking, I got this motherfucker. So it was all set for a Saturday night.
What'd you do? Pop the hinges?
No, I had all these people set up. I owed like 3 people money. I went to them like friends and I said, hey, I'm gonna have your money and then some. I'll be back tonight with the mother load. Just wait for me here at 11 o'clock. The lookout driver was my buddy Stinky. I was going to walk up this back way and get onto the roof and then crowbar his window, go in and crowbar the door and take it off the fucking hinges. I had screwdrivers, I had hammers, I had the whole fucking gift set, you know. So I tell my buddy Stinky, I go, Stinky, because it was outside a Cuban restaurant where I told him to park. I go, if you see anything, beep the horn. This fucking guy goes into the Cuban restaurant and eats. So here I am trying to pry the fucking window. Yeah. Pop, I pop the window. I'm taking the storm window off. And I hear the dog barking. The dog is barking. So I look and I see flashlights. But I had already heard a cop car stop. And when he stopped, he went whoop. You know how they make that little noise? So I knew the cops were on to me. I was just I was going to bust in, close the window, bust that door, and run out the front door, and they wouldn't see me, like a tourist with a fucking envelope. I fucking got the window open, and sure enough, the cop's light comes up, and he goes, hey, who's up there? So I went to the edge of the roof, and there was like a 6-foot gap space between that roof and a fence. And if I could jump that fence, the cops would never get me. They'd be on the other side. The only thing I had to contend with was the German Shepherd who I already had in my pocket. We were goombas.
You got everybody in your fucking
We
pocket.
were fucking family. So one thing leads to another. I see the lights come up. I turn. I go to the edge, and the cops are right under me. I mean, I'm looked down, and they're right under me. They're not looking up. They're like, where is he? Go to the end of the alley. And I waited till I took like 4 steps, and I jump over him, land. They go, stop, halt, police. And I thought they were going to shoot me. I just kept running. But guess what? The fucking dog turned on me. I'm like, Bubba, what's going on? And he's like, and I'm fucking running with this dog snapping at my ass. He's biting my leg. I'm punching him in the fucking head. You fuck. And finally, I hit the fence. He's got my jeans. I'm like, you ungrateful fuck. I fed you whoppers and fish ahoys and whatever the fuck.
Fish ahoy.
Whatever the fuck I gave you. And there was a little fence, and they had barbed wire, 3 rows of barbed wire. And I swear to God, I made it. I high heralded it. Airport, but I was so broken. Like, I was broken. I was suicidal broken. Like, my next step is to go kill myself. So I jumped in another cab, and I go, just take me to the cheapest hotel around. And he took me to somewhere like a Marina Del Rey, like this shitty fucking hotel. And I remember getting pizza and just crying. Like, what am I going to do? And then I got my strength together, and I spent a couple days on the beach just getting my life together with the money I stole. And then I called, and then I was going to go home. So, but I don't have any money. But there was an airline called People's Express. People's Express.
I don't remember that one.
You don't?
No.
They flew from New York. They flew from Newark to L.A., Newark to Denver, and Newark to England, and Newark to Miami. You ready for this one? This was in the height of the cocaine. Newark to Miami, $49 flight one way, $19.95 after midnight, on the hour, every hour. So you and me could be snorting blow at 3 a.m. and go, I got a cousin in Miami who can get us a package. Let's go. $19.95.
$20.
And you played for the flight on the plane with a credit card.
Come on.
Oh, I had a guy that was giving me Chinese credit cards.
I'd be scared to fly.
You should have seen me acting. I'd be on a plane like Joe Wong. Mr. Wong, what can we get you? Give everybody a drink here. Give me a pill.
Everybody.
Give everybody a drink. Because they had those things. They couldn't do them until they landed.
Yeah. It's 80 what?
I'm still
3, 4.
I'm still 20. It's 83. I'm still 20, and I'm up there about 3 months, and I'm like, you know what? I really got to get my life together.
But is it a culture shock to you going from
Tremendous culture
it's gotta
shock.
Be,
Tremendous
right? Going
people,
from the city streets
people
to
telling you good morning.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Me going home and going, there's fucking fags in this neighborhood. Because every day they tell me good morning.
People are nice to me.
You know, I didn't know that people pulled over to pick you up and hitchhike. In Colorado,
back then,
if you're walking, people pull over and go, hi, you want to ride? And I tell them to go suck my dick somewhere else. Get the fuck out of here. And I told my roommates, and they're like, no, that's cool around here. People just pull up next to you in Colorado. Like, you want to ride? And you're like, no. It's October, maybe. It's November 2nd by this time, something like that. And I get up from the hotel. The Hindu keeps calling me. You have to pay another $20. I'm like, I ain't got another $40. Finally, they're at 4. They're like banging on the door. Please, you have to go. And I finally get up, take a shower, and I walk up the hill. And I'm walking on Kennedy Boulevard to Hashways because I know I can always get food on the arm at Hashways. And they'll give me a 20 to go or 40 and put it on your tab. I'm walking, and all of a sudden I hear this motorcycle. What the fuck is up with this motorcycle? And I look at the guy, and he flips the thing, and it's my godfather, 50-something years old, on a fucking motorcycle. He goes, what happened to that money? And I go, I don't know. Phew, and I start running, and he's chasing me through the streets.
Come on.
Oh, my God, it was embarrassing.
Oh, my God.
You know I'm a piece of shit. I start running, and then I run behind this church, and I have a bed of roses So I'm running through this bed of roses, getting
Oh
thick
yeah,
with thorns.
fucking ripped up.
I'm like Jesus without the juice. I'm just getting dragged through this bed of fucking roses. I'm like, fuck, Jesus had a bad day. Oh my God, I am fucking bleeding from everywhere, and I bust out into Kennedy Boulevard, and I run into Hashways, and they're like, what the fuck happened to you? What were you? What, you been whipped? I just started, when they threw me out, I would have to walk to the house every day, and I would have to walk past 88th Street Park, and I noticed they had a rocket ship in there, like a seesaw and swings, but they also had a thing that you could climb up to and go to the rocket ship. So what I would do in those days is my friends would go, all right, Coco, where are you going? Because by this time, everybody knew I was homeless, and nobody wanted to bring me home, because if you brought me home, you weren't going to get rid of me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we love you to death, but we know if we let you in that door, we're fucking stuck with you. So they would just drop me off into this rocket ship every night. No blanket, no nothing. I would buy a pint of Smirnoff vodka, the silver, and I would put it in my winter jacket, and that was for nighttime. And at night, I would leave the bar at 3 o'clock. Somebody would drop. I would say, they'd say, where are you living? I go, I live behind that thing downstairs. And they would just drop me off. And I would be too ashamed to tell my friends, but they kind of knew. But they knew I had to pay my lumps. I had my lumps coming to me, bro. I ran amok. So I would go on that rocket ship at night, drink the last half pint of vodka, jerk off on the Coke, and then wake up to, Mister, wake up, you're sleeping in our rocket ship. Kids would come to the park, and I'd be in the rocket ship. You know, and I'd have cum on my pants the night before. I mean, you can't make this shit up. This is